Cheers and welcome, everybody. I am Christoff J Weihman, America's favorite speaker empowerment coach, creator and producer of the Ultimate Speaker Competition. And today is the beginning of our Speaker Spotlight series for our Ultimate Speaker Community Facebook group. We are broadcasting live into LinkedIn, our Facebook group, and on YouTube. Welcome, everybody. I am super excited to be here and to have the opportunity to introduce my guest and spend some time with him today. And this is our very first Speaker Spotlight. So this is super exciting. We've been talking about this and planning for this. And I thought, who should be the first person to be interviewed on this show? And it is none other than my new good friend, Mr. Louis Barr. Louis is a Frenchman. He moved to the United States 30 years ago. He is a seven-time world champion dancer. He has worked with some of the high-profile dance entities that you know of, including Dancing with the Stars. He trains dancers from around the world, and he is a public speaking choreographer. I have never heard of such a thing, and we're going to find out what in the heck is a public speaking choreographer. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome to the broadcast my good buddy, our guest, Mr. Louis Barr. Louis, welcome, my friend. How are you today?
Very good, fantastic. It's an honor to be in your show and to be the first one. Thank you.
Yes.
I like to be first. That's good.
Well, we're super excited that you're here. You and I just met recently, less than a month ago.
Correct.
And I want to give a shout out to our mutual friend, Jennifer L. Horsepool, magnificent lady. She is the owner of Engagement PR in Los Angeles. She works with businesses, entrepreneurs, small business owners, helping them get in the media, get their messages and their businesses broadcasted. And she's the one who put us together. So Louis, I've got a ton of questions for you. We're going to have fun. I'm sure it's going to be exciting. And for one thing I did not mention, but you all could see on the screen, one of Louis's brands is Wow Everyone. Now, this is very interesting because I have also considered myself the wow guy because my first book is called Getting to Wow. And you and I just have so many different things in common. But let's step back and tell us a little bit about where you grew up. I know you're from France, but France is there's many places in France. Tell us a little bit about your background, your upbringing, and then how you came to the United States.
I'm born in Paris, and I grew up in Normandy, which is 1 hour away from Paris. I grew up as an ice skater. I skate for my country and part of the Olympic team in 1980. And that's one wow. We're gonna see how many. Yes. So I train people. Today, I still training actually and do choreography for people who do the Olympics. And I did choreography for the Olympics from the 2010, 14, 18. And all those couples actually got gold medals. So if you watch the Olympics, you know exactly who those people are. They are Charlie and Meryl and Scott and Tessa from Canada. So when I married this amazing American woman, we stayed in France for 5 years, got a little daughter, beautiful girl, and we decided to say, nope, French people are not as hard worker than I am. I want to take my chance. I don't want to walk in the street like they do every day. I want to be sure that actually I take the and try to make the American dream realistic. So I moved in America, didn't speak one word, and when I arrived in America, and I said, all right. The first thing that I learned as my job was in the barbecue restaurant in Kansas City. How many in your party? 4. Enjoy your meal. How many? So Trust me, I know this phrase by heart, but that's all I knew for a while.
Oh my gosh. Wow. So you did, yeah, there's a second wow. Okay. That's going to be our theme. Wow anyone. And we are being wowed. You came to the United States without knowing English. You did not learn English in school growing up. Wow.
Yeah, but this the quality of learning, it was not as good. I knew a couple of phrases, was important, and but not really to be able to hold a conversation or even talk to people or just do a business.
Yeah. And how did you get started in skating? Was it in your family?
Okay, that's actually a very interesting story, and for me, I'm very emotional when I think about this, because when I was 12 years old, until I was 12 years old, I should say, I was very, 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 very shy. I mean, shy on the level that basically it was sick. I didn't have any friend. I was that thick. In school, I was afraid to ask questions, so I had bad score in school. I mean, you name it, anything a person was shy than any extreme, it was me. So I was doing nothing in my life. And we went with the school to field trip to go to the ice rink. And the coach was there, was helping the different group, different people. And he showed us to do something. And at the end, he said, "Oh, so you skate already? You're already in a club?" And I said, no, that's the first time I skated in my life. I never skated even before. And he told me, he said, "Well, you're talented. You're supposed to do that your sport." And there we go. The shy kid said, no, my parents don't have money. I cannot do this. There's no way, and everything. So he said, "Well, let me talk to your parents." I said, no, this is not possible. And so I went back home, and that night he got the phone number of my parents. On that time, there was not a cell phone. That was just the one from the teacher. And he said, "I need to take care of that kid. That kid has a very high potential, and I want to be sure to give him a chance." So he called my parents, and he said, "I met your son today, and I think he has a lot of talent. I want to give him a chance." And they said, and they said, "Okay." And he said, he told me you don't have a lot of money. And I said, "Oh, no. We're not rich, but we can certainly help." And they said, I don't care about the money. I want to have him 1 year and everything for free for him. And he doesn't going to pay anything. I just want to take him as fast as I can to see what he can do. And it was in 1973. I was 12 years old, and he was the world champion 1968. So he was a big dude. He was basically the biggest dude in the world. He was the world champion. And after 6 months, I was doing the jump from the world championship on that time, which the axel. Now they are triple axel, but on that time, that was the axel, And I was the first on the ice. I was the last leaving the ice. I always been a hard worker. And here, trust me, somebody think I can do something? Not only I give a chance to that person to believe they didn't make the wrong move, but give me a chance. But I give a chance to myself. And already at 14 years old, my goal and my passion that I started to create because of this is to pay it forward for the rest of my life.
Oh my gosh.
And I do that
amazing.
because I do a lot of, for 20 years in Kansas City, when I had my school of dance, with my wife and I, we did some free program for the kids to teach them dancing and to teach them etiquette, dancing, how to get out of the child problem, but also get more confidence and get off this phone and just be sure that you do something with your life rather than just get fat and sit down and play games on things. You know what I'm saying? So
get out of the basement and off of the video games, right?
Absolutely.
Would you like to say the name of that person? Who was that person? The name of that?
Yes. I can absolutely. His name is Alain Giletti.
Alain
Alain ALAIN, and his last name is Giletti. GILETTI. You can go on the internet.
Alain Giletti. So this gentleman gave you an opportunity. He saw talent in you, and he opened a door.
Absolutely.
And this is amazing. You mentioned about paying it forward. I think it's so super important that we recognize people that have gifts, that have talents. I'm a big believer in, I've been trained and spent time with Les Brown, the amazing motivational speaker Les Brown, and I always quote him. He says, "I don't know you, but I know something about you, that you have gifts and talents and abilities that only you are meant to bring to this world. And all of us have something that is very unique, that only we can do in our own special way." So then you participated in the Olympics in 1980 as an ice skater. Is that correct?
That's right. I was in the Olympic team in 1980.
Oh my gosh. That is incredible. And then you went on to train Olympic skaters in 2010, 2014, and 2018 Olympics.
And 2022, because last year they called me back and they wanted, and I trained them as well. So,
and for what country?
Well, do you know, when you go to Detroit, a lot of people who are skaters, they know that. When you go to Detroit, you have at least probably 5 or 6 different countries was represented, because this is a very amazing place where the coach has such a high reputability. Then when he bring the fact that even myself, I'm associated to a coach like this, it is extraordinary, because they give it more credibility than they brought me to complement their work. And that, for me, I feel very blessed about this. I do things different. I do things always with out of the box. And the idea, like I say, is to create the wow factor. So, but there is one thing for sure that will make me very unique, is also because I'm very, very, I can say the word genuine, but I would say that I'm on from the heart. I'm thankful so much for this man. I'm thankful for human being. I'm thankful for my parents. I'm thankful for my wife and my ex-wife, who are just actually very close to each other, for my amazing children, and for friends and new friends that I meet, like you, Christoff. It is just amazing that so many people, in my opinion, don't understand that you can only create positive things between each other. What we do together is the same thing. So many people say, I can not talk to you. Yeah, are you kidding me? You're going to take my business away? No. It's just the opposite. You know, the car business understood that. They take a street and they put all the car dealership in the same place.
You know what? What a great example. And you're right. So those who are watching and listening, yes, Louis and I, first of all, everybody that knows Christoff, no, I am not a skater, and I'm certainly not a dancer. And we'll get into your dancing world champion experiences in a few moments. But the commonality is that we both work with speakers. We work with public speakers, motivational speakers. And yes, we could on the surface be like, oh, well, we're competing against each other or for the same clientele. But no, we have the same kind of focus and inspiration and passion. But the way that I approach is different than the way that you approach. And exactly. I know that we certainly can collaborate and complement each other. So let's talk about your dancing. You are a 7-time world champion. I guess you made a transition from ice skating to ballroom dancing. Is that correct?
Correct. When I came in the United States in 1991, I had to learn a little bit of English first, because I was not very good at this. And when people was telling me go forward, I didn't know what that means, forwards, because I don't even know. So when they're coaching me, they have to teach me the English in the same time that they were teaching me how to dance, and the concept how to teach dancing. So what I did is, as an ice skater, I brought something completely different on the floor by the way to move. And as a known choreographer already in ice skating, I brought something different as a choreographer. And I started to work with the school first for 4 or 5 years. I worked with the school. After 6 months, I became the top teacher of the school and make a good living out of it. And I will tell you this, gentlemen, if you want to learn and you want to make some money, I can tell you what, then you're in good shape. Look at this venue, because they need male teacher all the time, and they will train you in any studio where you are in. So it's actually very interesting to know. But of course, as somebody who doesn't speak English, I had to speak in front of people, because when I did show with my wife, there's one thing very important that we all know. We always, when we go out with our wife, what's happening? We are waiting on the couch to our wife. Is she finishing the things? You know what I'm saying? She has to be ready. Well, I'm very lucky because I have a wife who dress up and change very fast, but she still had to change. And so when we're going to do a show together, we do 5 dances, and between every dancer, she's changing. During that time, I have to be in front of those people.
Okay.
And
You have to
talk
entertain the
them.
audience.
And I had to entertain the audience with just whatever is in the room on that time, because it can be anything. There can be doctors, there can be a different a corporate event, there can be anything. So I have to tell mates, how did you like that dance? Did you like that? Well, I can see Mr. You over there, that my wife is attracted by you because she looked at you. So I had to create the audience and I had to play with it, you know. And sometime I remember one day I had to change my jacket, just my jacket, you know. And I said, well, I don't know the size of the women dressing room, but I tell you something, the size of the men's dressing room is very big, so I'm going to change right now, you know. And I'm dressed up in front of them. So I tried to create some fun things, and after that pop, she's coming back, we dancing again, and I have to entertain them again. You know what I'm saying? So the spontaneity in a room with whatever the crowd will be in front of me, it is something that I do very naturally because I've been doing that for 40 years, you know, so that helps me a lot. So
and are you self-trained with dancing, or is it coming from the skating world, or who did you learn or study under?
This is an extraordinary, a very good question, and I'll tell you why. Because I really want that anybody listen to that part, because a lot of people don't understand this. It doesn't matter how talented you are. It doesn't matter how logic you are, how self-taught you can be on anything. If you want to be a world champion or an Olympic champion, you will not reach that level without a coach. It doesn't exist. There's not one Olympic champion who is an Olympic champion without a coach. Even the guy who make millions of dollars, you know, football player, basketball player, they are absolutely getting coached. So what happened is this. We went to compete at the national championship in America for Argentine tango. My wife, I met her, never danced before. 9 months later, we became national champion in America. So you talk about somebody talented. She is extraordinary. And we went to the world championship and we finished 5th. The next out of 200 couples. Next year, we finished 4th. And we realized that we're missing something. So we went to get some coaches, one of the best tango master in the whole world. And there we go. We became world champion. Because, yes, thank you. Because we got the training to make the big step. Before, we would already be 4th in the world with no coach, only because we have imagination, good choreography, and we're passionate. It's okay, but it's not enough. So that's we didn't want to be the top in the top 5. We wanted to be the world champion. So that's the reason we worked very, very, very hard. And in 2011, I'm sorry to cut you, Christoff.
No, go.
But I have the amazing privilege to be world champion with my wife. But there's another thing is happening. In 2011, I compete in what we call rhythm category, which is 5 dances: cha-cha, rumba, swing, bolero, mambo. And for the 3rd time in the history of the world, I became world champion with my daughter. Daughter became world champion in Bermuda. Thank you. That was very emotional for me. I cried like a baby. I couldn't believe, because I knew I was giving something amazing to my daughter, and we work hard. Trust me. I'm very close to my daughter, but there was daddy off the floor and coach on the floor. And I mean, she didn't like the coach. She still loved her daddy, but she didn't like the coach. But at the end, she realized why the coach was so hard, because she got the title.
That's incredible and so amazing, and so, you know, such a great point. Anybody who is a high achiever, anybody that's at the top of their game, whether it be in business or sport or any kind of discipline, they have not only one, but most of the time, multiple coaches.
Oh,
right?
Absolutely.
Anybody that wants to reach to their net. But sometimes people have this idea or this feeling of, I already know it. But we can only go so far on our own. I want to pause for 1 second. We have a comment. I don't know who it is, because it says Facebook user. And if you're still watching, let us know who you are. They said, awesome. Oh my goodness. I competed in ice skating for 15 years. I love this. Thank you, Christoff and Louis. Uh, I have a feeling, I have an idea. It could be somebody. I have two friends who are actually both speakers. One who lives in Las Vegas, Sophia, who I believe competed or trained Olympic ice skaters. And then another one, Val Jones, who was I think she was in the national champion or finals or something. She actually was Val Jones was a part of our ultimate speaker competition a year and a half ago. She lives in Colorado. So whomever you are that is watching, you're welcome. I'm glad that you're enjoying. If you want to reveal, because all it shows us on this side is Facebook user, but we'd love to know who you are. And yes, you can comment if you are watching us on Facebook. We can see your comments. And if you have any questions for Louis about dance, about ice skating, about being a world champion, or about our next topic, choreography for public speaking. Let's talk about this. This is a very unique idea, but I have not seen you dance. I have not seen you speak on stage. We just connected,
Yes.
and have been spending some time together. But I know that, you are a person of excellence in everything that you do. You bring your highest focus and passion and discipline. So tell us, what is a public speaking choreographer? How do you bring this element from your past experience into the speaking world?
So, public speaking choreographer, if I explain, I would say I do choreography for public speakers. So that would make it easier to understand if I say it this way. But I like the title because I think basically that's exactly the idea. That's the question. The people ask the question, oh, what is a public speaking choreographer? Well, today we have a problem with a lot of people who are on stage and they do zombie presentation. Now, I wanted to understand something. I would never criticize or diminish the quality of the message that you have. It's not what you have to say, is how you have to say. And the problem that I see all the time, and it doesn't matter if the speaker is boring, if he's average, or if he's good, or very good, the entrance of those speakers 95% of the time is going to be the same. They're going to come in the stage, they're going to talk, they're going to leave the stage the same way. And the problem is when you get 5 or 6 speakers and they already present their work, you have a pattern what's happening always the same. It's like if you were watching a basketball game and they're playing the same action over and over and over. At the end, you know exactly what they're going to do, and at the end, you're falling asleep, because you know what they're going to do. So why are you going to keep watching that same action? You know what I'm saying? Well, something needs to be different. And the first thing that I do, every single one of my speakers, they go on stage different. They're going to do a moonwalk. They're going to do a backflip. They're going to juggle with the ball. They're going to. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, I'm just kidding. It doesn't have to be that dramatic and that exceptional. But the thing is, they're going to create something very unusual. And they're going to create something. We're going to wake up the people. And so if the people are sleeping, trust me, the speaker trained by Louis Barr is arriving. Bam. There's something is happening. What the heck is happening? Everybody's awake. Exactly. And
grab the attention.
Grab the attention. And not even, I keep that attention up all the time because I know that, when you're tired, you can fall asleep very quickly. So if the speech is 10 minutes, for example, every a minute and a half, 2 minutes, there will be a wow factor by the action. That means the way they present themselves, what they say, what they have on the PowerPoint, because sometimes it's on the PowerPoint, and something we're going to just wake up the people. They say, oh, what is that? What does that do here? That's nothing to do here. Like a picture of a Ferrari, and I'm talking about medical thing. And they say, oh, my guy was not focused right there when we were talking, when he did the PowerPoint, he just watching cars because he wants to buy a car. I will disrupt things such a way then the people will always get the attention and wonder what's happening, what is it. Sometimes, think about this, guys. The disorder is done in purpose. How many times in shows you feel like it's oh, that's amazing that that something like that happened. I remember I was one day I went to see the Cirque du Soleil. Oh, and they I was on the front row, so basically I was getting wet a lot. But there's two clowns. I don't know if you saw this show. For the people who didn't see this show, this is a show where it's basically the people are jumping in the water, they're diving in the water, they walk on the water because the stage is changing all the time. And so you have two clowns who's coming on his house, which is supposed to be basically in the water. And they start moving, they start dancing a little bit of and everything, and they get off the house and go on the edge, and they pick up somebody from the audience, and they pick me, and they said
they picked you out of the audience to come up on stage?
Yes. And I said, no, you don't want me. I said, pick that person right there. And they said, yes. And I said, no. And he said, so I didn't have a choice. They really wanted me to go on stage. So I come on stage, and I'm on a stage right there, and he put a salsa music. So I'm sorry because I'm going to use some bad words, and I apologize for this because this is really what happened for real. I grab his butt, and we start dancing salsa, and I'm moving, and I turn him. I do a double turn, doing split, back up, and the guy look at me, and they look at the audience, and they say, "What the heck just happened?" You know, I mean, look, he react because he doesn't talk, but he get very close to my ear, and he said, "I'm sorry, I'm going to say something bad, guys. Bear with me. I never use this word. Who the fuck are you?" Because the guy said, somebody, my guys play a joke on me because they know that I always pick up that guy or whatever, you know. So they thought his friends play a joke on him. And he just took me by just a pure coincidence. But after that, when I was leaving the audience, with the audience, they said, "You were amazing on stage. You're part of the show, right?" And I said, "No, I'm not." And I said, "Well, you should, because that's very good." And you see, and that's the point. There are a lot of shows done like this. They pretend to pick somebody from the audience, but in reality, it's an actor as well.
Sure.
Right? So never be afraid to get out of the box and to surprise the people with something that's supposed to be off the line, but it's done in purpose to keep the people awake. Was a long explanation. I'm sorry.
No, it's It's a great explanation, and it is so true. You know, you said more than once, it's not what you say, but it's how you say it. There's so many people that have a really great message inside of them, but when it comes out, it's not impactful. The information, if we just hear it, like, oh wow, that's something dramatic or emotional, but when it's being delivered, we see speakers, I often say that there's so many speakers that they speak with one, it's one level. It's monotone, it's one level, it's one note, it's one pace, it's one volume, it's one energy, and it's just like this. And what is that? That's a flat line, right? There's no life when it needs to be like this. It needs to be up and down. And
agreed.
And Tony Robbins would call what you use word disrupt. He calls it a pattern interrupt, right? Where you're grabbing the attention, you're stimulating the senses, the imagination. And as speakers, I think that there's so much opportunity for us to bring creativity. And like you said, to be different. Oftentimes we can go to an event and, maybe there's 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or more speakers that have gone before us, and you have to know what the emotion and the energy of the room is. That's and right. If it's okay, and sometimes speakers, most of the time you're going to be introduced. 90% of the time you're going to be introduced, right? Yes. But a lot of times speakers, okay, I had this wonderful introduction, the audience applauses, and then oftentimes a speaker will start off by repeating what the MC or the host said. Yes, like John just said, yes, my name is Christoff. It's true. I am from a small town near Chicago. I am an author. Why? Why are you wasting my time? Why are you starting off in such a boring way? Somebody who has introduced you, they've already set the tone. they've already invited the audience to, you know, bring up the energy. Let's talk about, can we talk about entrances, coming out on stage? What are your thoughts about that? What are your thoughts about having a signature song? What are your thoughts about what should be going on in the mind of the speaker? Let's just talk about that, this whole idea of the beginning, the entrance, the start.
Well, the entrance is so important, and what the coach a lot of time train people for, God bless them, they are doing the best they can. They are training by creating the message, the mission, the purpose, how that happen and everything. But they not really, they explain to you, yeah, you come on stage and you're going to present your thing, they present the PowerPoint, but they forget the presentation. And I'm going to give you an example. You know, I can pop up things out of my head because I've been trained for 40 years to do this, and to be very be able to improvise. I will tell you the first thing that, let's say I will do, let me get something. That, well, for example, I will come on stage and I will say, hi, everybody. And I would be back to them and pretend that the audience is face to me. It's the backstage, you know, and I would talk for like that for at least 1 minute. And the people said, I would, and after that I said, oh my God, this is not the audience. This is the other way. So right there, the people are wondering what you're doing. You know that the people are wondering and they say, hey, what's happening? Does he realize what he's doing? And you pretend that you're putting your glasses on, you know, and you say, oh, wow. Well, you know, you look at the same because you look so asleep. There's no animation over here that I was not sure. You know what I'm saying? So, I didn't know really what the audience was. If it was over there. There was more color over there because sometimes, a lot of time, they have a backstage. So I thought there was the audience right there. No, you over here. Well, I tell you what, guys, we're gonna have to be sure that we get involved together in this discussion, because I'm going to present you things, but I want some feedback. I want something. See, right away, I can start with that. Somebody with I have a lady who was going to be on stage the next day, and she wanted to get, so she heard about me and she said, oh my God, can you give me a couple of advice? And I said, well, sure. We went in a little room and I said, show me what actually we went outside. I said, show me how you go on the stage. So she go typical, go in and everything. I said, this is what you're going to do. You're going to go on stage. First of all, do you have different clothes? Black pants, white top, that doesn't work. You need to have something, at least have some jewelry or whatever. You know, you can go on stage just like this. No, I don't have anything. Okay, well, put some jewelry, put something. And I said, all right, because she's a very sweet personality, this is what you're going to do. You're going to come on stage and not talk and pretend that you're lost, that you don't have no idea where you are. She was going to talk. It's important what I'm telling you, because she told me, I'm always choreographing for what the people are going to present. So that means I'm not going to make them do a fantastic dancing move. It's nothing to do with dancing, you know?
Sure.
So she come on stage and it was about learning anytime, anywhere, anyhow. So I said, all right, I got it. So I said, this is what you're going to do. You're going to come on stage and look at the audience. And now you go backwards where you were coming. You see the people changing your, you see you're changing everything, and you come back up and say, hi, everybody, how you doing? You know? And she said, and you tell to the audience, he said, I just wanted to show you that. I learned that from Louis Barr yesterday, just yesterday. See, remember, I'm going to talk to you about learning. I just learned that yesterday, and I got the guts today to show you how it will be done. So I hope I did a good job. Did I do a good job? You know? So, and now you can go for your subject, because what I did was not extraordinary or crazy, but it was different. And when she arrived, she gets so lost, then the people say, oh, poor girl, poor girl. So she go back, walking backwards, not forward. And she said, and she come back, she said, okay. So now she's coming back up, and the people laugh because they say that she knows more what she's doing, you know, but she did that. And she explained, say, I learned that to do yesterday. So I hope I wake you up. No, I didn't wake you up over there. Hey, okay, good. You know, but you know, the comedian, they use the audience a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
that's not my favorite kind of audience, when they take somebody and start to crack a lot of joke about that person. Well, the fact that 90% of the time the people like it because they get attention as well.
Sure.
Hey, what is your name? Christoff? Well, that's a cute hat, but it would be better if you put it correctly on your head, and does it match your mustache? Whatever the people will say. It's funny, but I never use people to justify my action or my things. I would talk about the audience, or I will pretend that I've talked to somebody, but there's no really anybody. But I will not take one specific person unless that person is with me, or accept that I do that too. But I prefer to do something that's more general. So when I go on stage, like I say, it can be somebody. I have a guy that I'm training right now. He's a trainer for the soccer team in the Olympic team in soccer in Nigeria. And he said, well, yes, I really want to present. I said, well, the first thing, you're coming on stage juggling. You're juggling, that's it. You in suit, doesn't matter, but you're juggling. And now you're going to use that ball the whole time. You're going to use that ball to talk. So you're going to talk about the ball. You even sometimes some juggling again. You're going to say, hey, you over there, and you throw the ball to that person and say, tell me what you think about this, And so anybody has an opinion? Oh, throw me the ball back, pop, you send it to somebody. So you use this soccer ball that you came with the whole time, and this is your thing. People are going to stay awake, I tell you why, because they don't know if the ball's going to fly to their face. So they're going to try to be sure they catch it before it comes to them.
Very interesting. I agree in part about what you're saying about not, you said when it comes to the audience, you wouldn't point out somebody specific. I do sometimes, but I would never do it in a way that is going to be making fun or like ridiculing. Now, one thing that I have done in the past many times, especially if I have the opportunity to engage the audience, if I can engage so a lot of times I do training. So, if you're brought in to do training for a conference or a convention, or you set up your own personal training as I do for customer service for companies, I will walk the room before I officially start. Walk and say hello, right? If it's I'm talking about a small room, less than 100 people, but shake their hand. I also, if you have an opportunity, it's good to, of course, every situation is different, but if you have an opportunity to have a conversation with even a couple of people before you go on stage, then you can refer to that person or that conversation, and now it connects you with the audience.
Correct.
And the rest of the audience kind of vicariously feels connected because somebody in the audience is being focused on. Am I being a little bit frozen? On my side, sometimes I feel like I'm being frozen.
Yeah, but that's okay. That makes you look like a dancer. It looks like you do break dancing.
That's live broadcasting, my friends. Okay. I want to talk about something you were referring to a little bit. Is humor.
Christoff?
Oh, please. Yes.
I apologize to cut you, but you say something extremely important. And I think that I want to just add an extra things on that, because I'm going to compliment what you said, because I think it's fantastic. Understand something, my wonderful friend who are listening right now. Your live speaking performance doesn't start on stage. It starts the time you enter in a hotel.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be sure that you're always on the top of your game. You enter in the hotel, and the people, you want to be sure that you stand out in the crowd and the people wants to talk to you. And by the way you dress up, by the way you act, by the way you're happy, you smile all the time. But if you already have, before you go on stage, if you already have a lot of people would talk to you, and they approach you, or you approach them, You know, what is going to happen is when you come on stage, the people are not seeing somebody they never see before and they say, okay, another speaker, what he's going to do. No, they're going to say, oh yeah, I like this guy, or I like this woman. You know, I really want to see what they have to say. And I'm looking forward because it was so excited to talk to him or to talk to her. Right. So you already have some people who are interested, some little fan, you know, who wants to know how good you are already. Now you can disappoint them, or you can just feel like they can even like you even more, and just say, "Wow, that was crazy. That was really good," and I want to talk to them again. You start when you enter in your hotel. You're leaving, and you're done with your speaking when you're leaving the hotel. This is the rule number one that I coach every ballroom dancers to do, because when they come in a competition, the judge on the hotel, they see the action, they see those dancers, the way they carry themselves. They are so nice with other people around them. They help the old ladies, they do something, they say, it's a pleasure to meet you and everything. And you have the other guy say, well, get out of my way, I'm judge you do something. They yell and everything. Well, when the judge is going to see them on the floor, trust me, they already have some negative vibe about this guy was yelling and good vibe about the other one. So they have more chance already to place better because there is a different feeling, right? So just remember that. You enter in the hotel, that's it. The show's starting until you're leaving the hotel. And after that, what the major thing that the people are love, my opinion, are really bad for, that's the worst case scenario, the follow-up. Follow up. I'm sorry if I add so many extra things, but I think it's just a very important thing. It's a part of public speaking that people don't use at all.
I completely agree. I say 3 simple points. I say set the tone, read your audience, and this is a show. Set the tone. Set the tone is as soon as you are. I used to be an actor. I mean, I think I still am an actor, but I lived in LA and I did some independent films, but I did a lot of theater. And in those days, there were some times when I didn't have a car. I was riding a bus, living in Los Angeles. And when I was going to the theater for our performance night, I became the character the moment I left my home and got on the bus.
Fantastic.
I usually played old man. And so the way that I was walking, a little bit hunched over, I had a different gait, I had a different voice. And I was in my mind, in my energy, in my emotion. I was that character from the time I got on the bus to the time we were preparing, to the time I'm on stage, to the time I'm done and get back on the bus. And then I went out of character on the bus on the way home.
Unbelievable.
And it was so much fun because you really embody that. And for speakers as well, you know, sometimes people say things like, well, you know, you just need to have a conversation with the audience. Yes, that is true to some degree, but I believe that audience engagement is so important too, right? Getting them to respond, getting them to, you know, raise their hand, clap, laugh, whatever. But sometimes people will say, to be a speaker, effective speaker, just think like you're talking to somebody at your kitchen table. But if I'm talking to you at your kitchen table, I'm not going to say, Louis, you agree with me, right? No, it's a different type of conversation.
Yeah,
There's a different way of showing up. So I really like what you're bringing out. I want to go back to humor. You talked about, you know, making the audience laugh or using humor, but I'd like to get your thoughts about if you agree or what your advice is for when people have a very maybe a topic that's a little bit heavy. You know, it could be a very emotional topic, and we don't want to leave the audience in this very what's the word, very heavy state. So what are your thoughts about using a little bit of humor, even though the message overall is a serious message?
Okay, I think that Christoff, it's a number one thing that anybody needs to put in their speaking. even if if you're not trained for this, if it's not the natural way to joke about everything, it is important to put in there. And you're right, because if you have a very heavy subject about the death of somebody, how to handle the death of somebody. Okay, I understand. People are going to say, "Oh yeah, I just lost somebody. You know how I can deal with that." And if yeah, you need to mourn, you need to pray, you need to, and the energy is always like this, right? Well, the problem with that is at the end you're getting heavier and worse than it was happening before. So you can have humor on any subject one exists on the planet. It's just then you have to be careful the way you're doing it. I'm going to give you a trick how to do this. This is very simple.
This is great.
You test this to 5 or 10 different people, just in a kitchen table in a conversation, and test it just like this. So you don't even want them that you're going to say that, because you don't want that to be ready. Some are going to say, "Oh, you think it's funny? I don't think it's funny." And I said, "All right, that's heavy, but that's funny," And so you can see after 10 people that you talk to, try to see some 10 people with different horizons or different things that you talk to, and that will be the best way to test every single things that you're going to go for and you're going to joke about. Let's put back everything in perspective. There are some subjects were very dramatic and very difficult. But really, in my opinion, the most difficult one is when you lose somebody very, very close to you. I lost my mom in 2020. I was not a joke for me. But with my dad, this is what we try to do together. We try to joke about her dad when she was saying that. She really thought it was funny. We were laughing. You remember when she did these things? We laughed so hard. So it is important to find positiveness on any situation that happen in life. I started, unfortunately, I'm so busy. Maybe I need to do that again. I started a podcast one day, I think on Instagram and Facebook about be positive on any situation in life. Ask me a question and I will tell you how to do it. And it was very interesting because some people just trying to trap me. Well, that's easy to say that, but you just realized that today that you have cancer. All right. Well, I'm not going to take the guy or the people who just leave the cancer with such a dramatic situation. I'm going to look at the guy who actually, like Steve Jobs, who just had such a positive attitude until the end, and he said, "I'm going to die young, and that's okay because I did this, and I'm telling you, this is what I'm leaving behind me and anything." You have I remember his name, but this guy was probably in the last 2 months of his life the most positive person I ever heard. And so you see, today with those telephone and those YouTube and all those things you can get help with this to understand how can I turn a negative attitude to a positive attitude. And a negative situation, how to find the positive in this negative situation. Today, and I will conclude the humor in the discussion this way. Today, with everything we've been through the last 2 years, the people want to smile. They want to laugh. Give them a chance to do this by be the one who actually crack jokes and make things laugh about it. You're always, and I'm sorry to tell you this, you're always going to have some people who think you're awful to joke on this. You cannot change this. But the Pareto system is 80-20%. So you're going to have 80% who's going to like what you do, and you're always going to have 20% of things you're just a bad person and everything. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much you do. If you were ramping on if you were only praying to help that person, they would just think that you're not low enough to pray for them. That's as simple as this.
I agree. That's awesome. Very, very. I love your insights, and this is great because, as I mentioned at the beginning, we've only just met, so we're still getting to know each other. Yes. We are going to be collaborating on some different projects. We have our Ultimate Speaker competition coming up in April, which friends. I don't know the details yet. We haven't worked it out, but I believe that Louis is going to be lending his expertise in some form or fashion to help us elevate that. And I heard that there is an event later this year called Super Speakers. What is this? What is Super Speakers?
This is that it's happening in June, and Super Speakers. And why the name is Super Speakers is, first of all, because all the speakers going to be going to present themselves and going to have a presentation who has nothing to do by the way it's done today. We already said that, unfortunately, too many people do zombie presentation. Was not the way it's going to happen right there. So we're going to be super speaker. We're going to have in this event some celebrities, some very high celebrities. We're going to have also some I don't know if I can say judge, because we're going to see, but they're going to be here to 5 or 6 people are going to be here giving some awards for, actually, at the end, the best presentation, the best outfit, the best deliver, all kind of things like this. And so what it is the judge will be in the entertainment industry. I'm trying to surprise you with a couple of very famous judges from some TV shows on TV. You will see what it is. And we also have some judges, some people who are going to be there to look at you, and they're going to be booking agent for public speakers. So they're already going to see that anybody who's going to participate on this event is going to be different. Because I'm sorry to tell you that, but you're going to have to get through the process of my training. It doesn't have to be a huge training, but that would be so hard for you to be sure you understand what it is to entrance, what it is to create a wow factor in the middle, and to be sure that you have an exit who match the entrance that you have, and something good. And every time we will have a speaker enter, it will be something extraordinary. Picture this. If any of you want to see a show, the Cirque du Soleil, every time there is a number who's over, you say, oh my God, that was so good. What is going to happen now? When you go see public speakers, you have 5 or 6 speakers, and you say, oh my God, I'm glad it's over.
What is going to they say, oh my God, what is next?
Yes, what is next? Well, this is what I want to change, and this is what I'm working to change completely in 2023, is to be sure that every time you see one of the speakers from Super Speaker is going to be passing, and they say, now that was different, that was gutsy and everything. Okay, what is the next one's going to do? You know? So now we're in the energy of the Cirque du Soleil. We wonder what is the next one's going to do, rather than say, my goodness, I need to get a coffee or something, you know? And so I think that it's not been done yet in this industry. I think there are a lot of speakers with there, because a great guy like Tony Robbins or people like this train those people to put them in there, but he didn't work on this part of it, of presentation, as much than he should do. And one thing I will finish on this topic is this. If you learn how to enter on stage better, present yourself better, you're going to bring that in your private life. And I promise you something, your private life going to change. You're going to be so much more successful, because the people are going to see that this is when they're going to say when they see you, wow.
Wow. This is our common word.
Yes.
And nobody can trademark it, but it is definitely, look, friends, see, you can see in the corner there, wow, anyone. And this is what Louis brings to the table. No, he doesn't bring it to the table only. He brings it to the stage. He brings it to the arena. I can
bring you to the table because I'm a good cook.
Yes. And then you mentioned about exit. You mentioned about exit, which also, these are the 2 parts right here. I'm freezing, but it's these 2 parts. It's having an opening that grabs the attention, that does something to spark their imagination, and then the close. I see a lot of times speakers, you can see their brain turning because they're looking at the clock, and either they'll say it out loud, or you can see that they're saying it to themselves internally. Oh my God, I only have 3 more minutes. Or they apologize. Oh, my friends, I only have 15 minutes to talk with you today, or I have a lot of information to share with you in 45 minutes. I say, don't ever tell The audience doesn't care. Don't tell them you don't have enough time. You show up and give them what you got. Give them your best. And if it's 5 minutes or 45 minutes or whatever, but I see a lot of speakers because they want to end on time. So now all of a sudden they start editing themselves and they don't have a place to land. They don't really have a clear cut ending. Their ending is, okay, my information. Oh, okay, I guess that's my time. And they left it kind of like it's
Christoff,
hanging.
you say something very, very, very good. Now you understand how this word of be on stage for dancing, ballroom dancing, and for any other dances that I did for years helped me, and I helped so many people to understand this. I always say that to the dancers. I said, if you make a mistake, it doesn't matter which level, because world champion make mistake too. If you're performing in competition and make a mistake, your job is not to try to catch up your balance. It's to give the impression that the move was done in purpose. Because there's one thing for sure. The judge don't know your choreography. Mm-hmm. So they're not going to say, he didn't do that move. They don't know what you're doing. So maybe you did that exactly in purpose. So what you have to do is to create an extension of the movement that you did to give the impression that was done in purpose. And this is something in discussion. If you are, you have to be short. I love what you just said. Don't apologize on stage. Mm-mm. Because if you apologize, you make the people aware that something negative is happening. Live with it. And you have, let's say the worst case scenario, your best message, your best information from your speech is you missed it at the end. You didn't do it. You didn't deliver. That's okay. Don't worry about it. The thing is that the people listen to you up to the end. So what you say, that was just the top of the iceberg. I have some extraordinary more things to tell you about it. Your choice. You know where I am. You see the jacket that I'm wearing. I need to be sure that you cannot miss me in the crowd. Talk to me and I'll tell you more about it. You see what I'm saying? Because I missed my big message. I missed that phrase. I wanted to say that phrase and I didn't say it. I have to tell you something very funny. Thank you, God. I'm blessed with on the spot creativity. And when I was a kid and I was going to arrive late at school, I was during the time I was walking to the school, I was trying to say, what am I going to say to the teacher that I'm late, And I was finding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 solutions. And I said, I cannot think about this because when I'm thinking about this, I have too many solutions. So I realized that didn't have to do that. If I was arriving late in school and he was saying, why are you late? It was popping out of my head just like that. And it was sometimes much better than try to stage the excuses so much that actually it looks like, you really think I'm going to leave you, And it is, yes, exactly. You have time for a joke?
Of course.
Okay. This is a guy who just going down. You see what you when you say the truth, sometimes the people. Okay. So this is a guy who's going down from his house with his trash. He's going to bring this trash down, and on the level under him, in the apartment complex, there's this lady. We see him, and he said, "Do you mind to bring my trash as well down there?" I said, "Oh no problem. I'm going down. I'll bring it to you for you. So he's going down, and bring the trash. And we come back, and he said, that was so nice you did that for me. Would you be ready to come drink? And let me offer you something to drink. And I said, well, my wife is waiting for me. I better go up, And I said, no, please. I would love. Okay. So he goes in, he drinks something, and the woman is very attractive, and he fall in the charm, and she just seduces him because she likes him and everything. And unfortunately, they make love together. So they make love and everything. So he's ready to go, and he said, do you have some blue chalk, to write on the board, blue chalk? And she said, yes, because I know you're a teacher, so you must have all that. He said, yes, I have some. So he take the chalk, he put some on his fingers, and he write, and he go back home, and his wife said, where have you been? I've been waiting for you for at least 45 minutes. And he said, well, I tell you something. I don't think you're going to, I'm so sorry, honey, but I bring the trash down and I take the trash of this lady, of the neighbor behind her. And I went back up and she invited me to drink something. And I made love with her. I apologize so much, Shekina, I love you, but she just convinced me so much. And she looked at him and she grabbed her hand and he said, oh, really? You think I'm stupid? You went to shoot pool again. You have blue all over your finger.
Okay, I didn't know where we were going with that, but it had a good ending.
Yeah, it's a cute. You see, that's a good ending because I was saying the truth. The guy was saying the truth, but at the end, it just the truth didn't look like this. So just be creative and don't be afraid to play on any subject, and everything. Use the right word. That's all.
We only have a few moments left. We can have as much time as we want, but we're going to end very soon here. I would like to ask, so have you ever had experience where you failed on stage, whether it was in dancing or skating or speaking specifically? And while you're thinking about that, I will share with you, I remember a time I was an MC at an event. It was a hybrid event, so it was part live in person. We had a very small audience. This was in the last 2 years when things were on a little bit of a, limited occupancy. And then the rest of the audience was online. And I was the host and the MC, and they were having a lot of technical problems, a lot. So there was a lot of time that I was having to fill, and I ran out of stuff to say. I was not prepared. This was just a few years ago, probably 3 years ago. And I made this mistake. I asked the audience, well, what do you want me to talk about? Oh my God, this is a no-no. But I found myself lost. I was good at keeping it going with, okay, this person's next and doing the introduction, a little bit of joking here, little audience engagement, but I wasn't prepared to, because it kept happening over and over again. Instead of a 2 or 3 minutes, it was 5 or 7 or 10 minutes. And I told my friend, who's a great speaker as well, Rodney, and he said, oh my gosh, you never ever, if you're the host or the MC, you never say, well, what should we talk about now? So that was a very humbling experience for me. And I've learned since then to be more prepared, to have stories, even if I'm never going to share them, have some content, some audience engagement. I'm much better prepared now, but I just thought about that. And, I wonder if you have any experience where, you wanted to show up, you were there to do your best, but for one reason or another, something just did not go right for you. Anything that you might want to share?
Well, I would say that probably the one was, and I had to be improvised on the spot to figure out what to say. I was on Good Morning America. It was in national TV, and we were dancing with the swing was big on this. It was in 2001, 2002, and it was during winter time. And Good Morning America was there on next to the ice rink outside in Kansas City. And so they asked me to do two things. And they said, well, we want to put you on the ice, and after that, put you on the floor and dance with Laura, some swing and throw in the air, and I pass it between your legs and everything. I say, sure, no problem. So I skate, I bring the commentator on the ice, so they do a little bit of showing what's happening right there. And after that, we are dancing together. And I dropped my wife.
Oh my God.
And I tell you what, I mean, that was terrible because I never do that. But I catch her, but I didn't drop her so hard that she explodes her head. No. I mean, I drop her and her back touched the ground, and everything. I fell on the top of her, and everything. So I just protect her and everything. And, and I right away, and they say, are you okay, everything? And I said, you know what? This is the point. Every time I dance with my wife, I fall for her. and sometimes she falls for me too. And today that was the case, you know. And so I can tell my wife's still loving me, and this is fantastic. Well, we hope we didn't scare you, but at least the thing is that it's very cold, and our hand actually are not reacting the same way. That's the only reason. But we're good, you know. But I tried to put some humor and just catch that back really, really, really quickly, because I need to say something. I didn't want that they get scared. So that was one of the major one, I would say.
Wow, that's amazing. That's and again, it's about being creative, and I think the more that we tap into these forms of expression, the more that we develop it as a muscle. And like you said, you're able to be quick all the time. And the more that we get on stage, the more that we are doing interviews or whatever it may be, those creative juices can be flowing, and it's something that becomes even more natural for us, right?
I would say one thing for the audience right there. I saw Christoff in the crowd. He doesn't know almost nobody. Well, if you want, I'll just need to have my phone the next time and film what he does. Because I can tell you something, that when he's done on that evening, half of the crowd knows him. He has the information of those people. He knows exactly what he can do, and he's going to follow up with it. But he went out. He went to talk to those people. And I would say that, please, people, when you go somewhere, if you just go to a football game or to party with friends and everything, okay. But if you know that you go for a networking event, what is the first word? Networking. So the people are ready for this. Have your business card ready, and not only the QR, by the way, because the problem is when you go on some hotel, the Wi-Fi is so bad you cannot even get the QR. So business card still good, you know. If you have the business card and the QR on the top of the card, that's even better, you know. But I saw Christoff act. I saw him kind, so nice. He compliment people all the time, and he tried to understand more what it is, you know. But he didn't start to do that yesterday. He trained himself, and he get out of his box. He's getting out of the comfort zone all the time to talk with some people that he never met before. And I do that too. But trust me, I see somebody else doing it and work different style. I loved it. I learned a lot by watching him.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Louis. Thank you very much. You work with speakers, you work with dancers. You're still doing both of of those. How do people best connect with you? How do they find you? Where do they connect with you?
Well, you have my website. Unfortunately, the website, since we have a lot of things happening, we are working on it right now. You can go see it anyway. But the best way is to contacting me through Facebook, Louis Bar. You see, if you do Louis Bar Dance, you can find me. I can give you. I'm okay to that. You contact me directly by phone number 913-219-7600. You can text me on Facebook. You can messenger me if you want to know more about what I do, how I'm doing, and everything.
913-219-7600.
Correct. And if you call me this way or text me, just say who you are, what you saw me, or so on and so forth, and I'll be delighted to talk to you, share with you. You know, I would never work with anybody or help anybody if I don't see already who they are, what they need, where they come from. Basically, I always say, I need to know where you've been, where you are, where you want to go. And if I know that, I can figure it out if I'm the right one. I refuse to work with some people because I felt that I was not the right guy for these people. And I will tell you this, just this is probably the most interesting that you can do. One, in my opinion, the people who are the most interesting to work with, and I'm sure that Christoff is going to be able to, are the people who are coachable. And trust me, I will listen. If somebody, I have 40 years of experience off stages. If somebody was teach me a couple moves or a couple of things to say on stage or put me on stage a different way, and they've been doing that for only 1 year, I am not going to tell you, who do you think you are? And I will say, yeah, show it to me. Because you can learn from anybody. And sometimes don't forget, new people, the young people have the idea. So the new ideas, and the old people have the experience of life. And the combination right there is phenomenal. Don't think you're going to break that. Nobody's going to break that. It's going to, there's the rule of the universe. So when I work with people, I try first of all to understand what they are, to see that I'm going to be a good match for them. I'm going to help them. I don't want to create a teacher student. I want to create a team. And if we create a team, we can even sometimes perform on stage together. Absolutely. That can be very, very fun and very interesting, you know? So, which is probably one of those days going to happen with Christoff and I. We're going to be on stage together and give trouble to each other, you know, and
I look forward to it. Absolutely.
Yes,
Louis, so much fun. I appreciate you. I know you a little bit more than I did earlier or yesterday, and I applaud you for what you do and how you show up. I'm a big believer in affirmations, I am statements. And when we do events, we often will invite our students, our speakers, to fill out a card that reads "I am," and then they put their affirmation, and then the next line is "My gift to the world is." So I'd like to end by asking you to make that statement. I am Louis Barr. You are what? I am da, 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 and my gift to the world is.
How interesting. I am Louis Barr, and my gift to the world is...
No, I hold on one second. But the affirmation besides your name, some descriptive words that tell us about you. I am.
I see. So I'm Louis Barr, the Weihman, and my gift is to find on every single of you your wow factor in order to stand out in the crowd and become leader in any field that you are in.
Boom. Woo! I like it. Thank you so much for spending time with us. Friends, thank you for watching, whether you've been here with us live on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, or you're with us watching on the replay. If you are on one of those channels, type in replay so that we can know. And please feel free to reach out to Louis Barr. He has his Super Speakers event coming up in June. But if you were intrigued, inspired, motivated, and you think there might be an opportunity for you to connect with him, please feel free to do that. And if you're a speaker who's ready to go as soon as 5 weeks from now for the Ultimate Speaker Competition coming up in April, you can reach out to me as well. My friends, this has been our Speaker Spotlight for the Ultimate Speaker Community Facebook group. I'm your host, Christoff J Weihman. My guest has been Louis Barr, and thank you so much for being here with us today.